All right, everybody, welcome out to the And a Chaser Beer and Booze Show. It is Wednesday, April the 24th, 2024. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, on these shows is the Beer Samurai and the Beer Whisperer / Whiskey Whisperer.
I have all sorts of personalities in there.
Every single one of them are on this show tonight. With
so many voices in there. Beer and booze. It makes it sound,
we'll get that opening a little smoother soon. Don't worry.
it sounds a little low. Beer and booze makes it sound so low class, but that fits us.
Well, I mean, really, exactly. So, anyway, how are you, gents, on this fine evening?
If I was doing any better, I just couldn't stand myself.
There you go.
Oh, don't do that on camera. Well, do that. Imagine the ratings if he did.
I would. We're gonna have to do that one show. You're gonna have to get really, really good on one show.
So good,
good you can't stand yourself.
And if we don't get there, maybe we just play Russian roulette on the show.
No. Just, with a rubber band, just.
Those rubber band guns.
Anyway, cool. All right. I'm thirsty, gents. What about you?
Yeah, I'm thirsty.
All right. Tom, why don't you lead us off? What's your first beer or cocktail, whichever you're going to bring up first? So bring them both up, and then I'll do mine.
Well, I'm going to drink the cocktail first, but I'm going to show you the beer, and then it'll explain kind of why I went with the cocktail that I did. I've got this one from Longboat Brewing. It was their Missouri mixer. It's their tap room release. It's dark matter. It's a porter with coconut.
Wow, nice porter with coconut sounds pretty tasty to me.
So today I made a simple syrup with key lime and coconut.
Nice.
So someone's putting the lime in the coconut.
For this particular cocktail,
I know a good beer that would go with that simple syrup.
Well, here's the cocktail. I'm using Woodworks Distilling Preface Series rye. This rye is at 115 proof. Let me show that to you. So that's the basis for this, old-fashioned inspired cocktail using that simple syrup, but keeping that porter in mind. I use cocoa bitters. Mm-hmm. So I've got some rye, lime, coconut syrup, and cocoa bitters.
Now, what's your prediction here? Do you think the coconuts are going to cancel each other out? And you're really going to get a lot of lime out of the cocktail, and then you'll get all the roast out of the porter? Or do you think they're just going to complement each other and enhance the...
Well, unless there's a ton of coconut, your lime is always going to overpower the coconut.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's what I had to do with this simple... Because this is the first time I made this simple syrup, so it was kind of a test batch. So I wasn't sure how much coconut to add, because I didn't want the coconut to overpower the lime, but I wanted enough coconut to be able to taste it. So I'm using unsweetened shaved coconut. And I've got a coconut strip as a garnish, if you can see that there.
What kind of razor do you use to shave the coconut, Tom?
I know. I was going to ask.
Is it a Bic, Schick, Gillette?
I'll be honest with you. I prefer the Schick, but you can use whatever razor you like.
Yeah, I got you.
But that's the razor that works best for me.
Now, is it a dry shave, or do you apply some moisturizer to the coconut?
I apply a little
coconut oil.
I like the whipped
cream. There you go. Nice.
There you go.
That unsweetened. There you go. Now
as old school as Tom is,
it's all in the wrist.
Exactly.
As old school as Tom is, I thought he was going to say a straight razor and a strop.
I may be old school, but I'm not a barbarian.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know some people would argue with you on that one.
Some people might. But anyway, so I was making this drink earlier, and I didn't do the cocoa bitters until I picked out that Longboat coconut. Or I said, let's do the cocoa bitters and see what that adds or doesn't add, because I didn't know if it was going to work or not, to be honest with you. Right. The cocoa bitters with the lime. And quite frankly, it does. It really is. It's nice. It's just a nice kind of... You do feel that cocoa, but I still feel that lime and coconut in there.
Very nice. Very nice. Cool.
So while you guys talk about yours, I'm going to pour this beer. Let's take a look, see what it looks like.
Well, I'm gonna make my cocktail. Dave, why don't you tell everybody what you're drinking tonight?
Well, I'm drinking a very fancy cocktail. Mm-hmm. I kind of went a little over the top here. I really, two flavors that go so well together are banana and strawberry. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to be drinking this tonight on the show. It is a banana strawberry yogurt. There's no alcohol in it. We're just.
I was going to say, did they start making hard yogurt now? I mean, that's next on the hit parade.
Wait a second. What's that brewery in Texas?
Got a vodka in there, Dave?
Yeah, Martin House definitely.
Martin House. No, they make yogurt beers.
I've had yogurt beers before. I've actually had a really good yogurt beer from Northway Brewing up in Glens Falls.
I think it was Martin House started it, though. But this is
they may very well have. Yeah.
But obviously, I don't have a beer to pair with this. I am not drinking alcohol for a little bit, probably at least until the weekend. So my vacation, as some people know, took a downward spiral towards the end of it, and I wound up in a Prague hospital for a couple of days. So I made it back here, and yeah, that's a lot of what the operating room sounded like while I was there, Johnny.
Pretty much,
dropping stuff all over the place, metal bits. But I got discharged in time to make my flight, and got home, and I'm just recovering now. So I'm not going to hang on the show the whole time. I really do kind of need more bed rest. I'm past the jet lag at least, so I don't have that.
At least there's that.
Yeah,
at least there's that.
I got that going for me.
So you got
which is nice.
Hey, look at the shirt I'm wearing.
I know. That's why I said it. Galunga.
Gunga Galunga.
Hey, llama. How about a little something for the effort?
For the effort.
But just wanted to jump on, say hi to Johnny and the Beer Whisperer. Hey guys, and to everyone watching out there. Okay, now I'm on the mend, and in a couple of weeks I'll be on the show, probably raring to go. And
we actually pushed. That's why it's the. Hold on, let me go back to the banners here. Okay,
back to the banner.
Back to the banners.
There's a banner.
There's a banner.
Well, Bruce Banner.
We could actually get to it. There we go. Today is
banner. Avant Garde Day.
Avant Garde Day. There you go. So
you say that while fencing, don't you?
Yeah.
That's on guard.
On guard, yeah, exactly. So anyway, no, the reason we did that is because Dave obviously was not going to partake in the libations, but we had a really good show lined up for that, so we pushed it to the next one. So that'll be the next one in 2 weeks.
Couple weeks.
And I'm really happy what I did. So stick around for a second, Dave, while I explain this. So
I want to see what you're doing.
So I got a couple.
I'm kind of happy with this yogurt here.
I got a couple of samples of this because I wasn't sure what to think of it. I wanted to try it first before I committed to a 750
full
bottle of it. It's Curveball whiskey, and it's barbecue whiskey. Curveball barbecue whiskey. I bought two, so I got.
What makes it barbecue? Barbecue sauce or smoke it?
It's a little smoked, and it's got a teeny little bit of heat in it. A little bit of smoked and a little.
I thought you were going to say wang.
Yeah, it's got a little. Hey, of course, it's a little wang to it. I mean, I had to stir the glass with something.
Well, we went from
it's my wang. I call this wang.
Caddyshack to Hollywood Nights.
Well, somebody gets their nuts in the punch bowl again.
Exactly right. Hey, when that happens. Anyway, so
no, nuts was the theme from last show, Tom.
That was nutty.
My bad.
Anyways, all right. So anyway, so barbecue whiskey, and I just paired it. All I did was I just put a little of my my Sugar Bob's smoked maple syrup in with it, and it is. I just took a sip of it. I'm like, it smells fantastic.
Maple barbecue, that can't suck.
Yeah,
no, that can't at all. I
may buy a bottle before I even have the other, small bottle. So very good. And then I paired it. And I was going to have this last night on the.
So Tom shaving, you're pairing.
I'm pairing, right? With Yingling Bock beer.
Oh my God! Okay, let's go.
Now I can see that working. Yeah.
Now the Yingling Bock beer, they made this years ago. Obviously, they stopped making it in. I think it was 2013. I think they stopped making it. Might have been 2014. Right. Somewhere. I liked it. I thought it was a great Bock. Obviously. A small batch, Bock beer, is going to be a little bit more, a little bit more caramel forward, a little bit more of the oldie feels, as they say. But this is solid for a largely produced, on this scale Bock beer. I always thought the Yingling Bock was solid, and they just re-released it, so I definitely picked some up. And here's the thing about Bock beer, right? It's nostalgic for me to the point where, but way before craft beer and everything else, like back in the day, there were Bock beers around. Even Michelob had a Bock beer, which was fantastic, actually, for a Michelob Bock beer, if you will.
For them,
right. In any event, barbecues back in the day when I was a lot younger, Bock beers seemed to be the beer that was being drank at a barbecue more often than just your typical light lager.
Well, there's a few reasons for that. Because your first barbecues start to happen when Bock comes out, right? There's that. But also, if you think about it, when you look to one of the top regions for barbecue in the country, which is Texas, there's only two beers they're going to down that barbecue with. It's either Lone Star
or Shinerbach,
which is really not a Bock per se.
Right. It's Bockish.
It's Bockish.
So much Bock as Amber Bock was to a Bock beer, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right, exactly. But
the word became associated with barbecue.
So I figured this would be perfect. So I put the Yingling Bock in my Yingling puppies plant. All right.
How apropos of you.
You need for that cocktail though is you need a
I feel like the brew guru actually using proper glassware with my beer.
Say again, Tom?
He needs a St. Louis spare rib in that cocktail.
You got to put it. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then of course I use my Godfather glass.
And
I used a football ice cube too, since tonight is the draft show on the.
But I'm thinking that if Shinerbach is used for Texas barbecue, Yingling Bock should be used for Northeast barbecue, which means Johnny should have a bratwurst sticking out of that cocktail.
That's not a bad idea.
Rib. You need that rib bone. The rib bone makes the garnish.
Hold on. I will put a rib bone in this. I will put a bratwurst in this.
There you go.
There you go. Well, cheers, gents.
Finish my coffee.
Samurai, I hope you get feeling better, man.
Nostra vi.
Oh, that's a good Bock.
Yeah, no, I should be. Hopefully by the weekend, I should be all right.
And I will make it known in my vacation, and when I take my vacation in September, we're not visiting any third world countries, so I don't anticipate anything.
I don't know. You're going to Columbus. That's close.
We are going to Columbus.
We heard all about it on the show last night.
Yeah. Doug told us about your trip.
Apparently, we'll have to meet you in the Elvis room.
Apparently, we're all going to descend like flies on your vacation.
Come on down.
That works.
They said we can have up to 6 people in the room, so if you want to travel a little bit.
There you go.
Well, depending on the mood Dave's in, sometimes he's 6 people in himself. So
depends. Right now, I'm down to about half.
Right, half of one person.
Unless you're talking about weight, then I'm about 2.5.
So anyway, all right.
But gents, I'm going to sign off.
Why don't you go relax? Go rest.
Man, I hope you get feeling better, man.
Go rest up because we got
over there. Is going. Come to me.
We got an interesting show next Wednesday on the Log Room, guys. Not Tuesday.
Yeah, we're gonna be on
Wednesday. So like 1 week from right now, we'll be doing the show, and it's gonna be a waxing nostalgic show. We'll leave it at that. Tune in for that.
I'm excited. I'm very excited about that one.
Shaving, pairing, and waxing. Always
shaving, pairing, and waxing.
I do
I do like my shaving and pairing and waxing.
Very excited.
Oh my!
Probably in the wrong place.
All right.
So, alrighty.
All right,
folks.
We got it.
You guys have fun.
We will talk to you later.
Bye.
So, anyway, all right, Tom. So, what is that? Okay. All right, cool. Sorry. I just had to check one text there. For the show tonight, actually. In fact, based on that, we should have an extra couple of minutes.
All righty.
All right. So I will just reply, and we can actually go the full hour for this. And there you go. That works for me. Done. All right. So on that note, how was your talk about your cocktail? Talk about it. Is it opening up for you?
So yeah, I got to be honest with you. So I was doing the lime and coconut, and I wasn't really sure what the beer pairing was going to be, and I wasn't really sure what bitters I wanted to use until I picked out the beer. And when I decided to go with the coconut porter, well, the coconut bitters made the most sense. But quite frankly, I've never tried it before, so I had no idea if it was going to work or not.
Well, that's true.
So it does work, though. The coconut does add, or the cocoa does add a little bit to the coconut and the lime here.
Nice.
Because when I just thought, well, coconut lime, cocoa bitters doesn't make sense. But when I thought about the coconut porter, I said, maybe I can make that work. But this particular coconut porter, I know you probably had many. I know I have that are more on the sweet end, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This one is not. You feel more dark chocolate, more big roasted malt porter notes with the coconut. So it's not a sweet coconut porter.
Gotcha. It's just a little bit of the flavor line in the background of the porter.
Yes. So when I try to pair it with the cocktail, because I'm getting more dark chocolate or slightly bitter chocolate notes, it actually works. Because if it was a sweeter porter, it would bring out too much sweetness in here.
Right.
But it oh man, this is gorgeous.
Lovely. That's great. And the use of porter aside, like if you weren't having the porter, if you were just drinking the cocktail, and you put the cocoa bitters in with that lime and coconut simple syrup.
Actually,
how would it work? How would it work if you didn't have the other flavors coming at you?
I wouldn't have tried it had I not thought of the porter, because when I was going through all the bitters that I have on hand in my head, I thought, well, I don't know. I was trying to decide, because I've got the cardamom, I've got cocoa, I've got toasted almond, I got this, that, and the other, and none of them really made sense. But until I thought, well, but chocolate and coconut does work, so I thought the coconut would. I just didn't know how it would bounce off the lime, right?
Right.
But somehow it works.
Very nice.
Because I do feel it. I do. You feel the cocoa bitters more on the nose, as you're supposed to, right? Because it's supposed to add to the aromatics. But you do taste it a little bit, and it kind of balances that tartness of the lime.
Nice. Very nice. I'm interested in actually making my own, making some lime coconut simple syrup there, and giving that a try with the cocoa bitters. I might have to do that. This is fantastic. Actually, I was actually. I can't say I was shocked. I figured it would be good, because it's not. It's a smoked whiskey. It's not super smoked, but it's got a teeny little bit of heat in it, right? So it's barbecue. It's got some barbecue flavor, not just smoke flavor. Actual, like as if it were barbecue flavoring, and putting the smoked maple syrup in it. It's really not. It's really lovely.
I like lovely. That's a nice adjective. I bet it has to be very secure in his manhood to use the adjective lovely.
I can use the word lovely. That's fine. But I have to lower my voice when I say it. So
that's lovely.
So, but it's pairing really good with the bach too. I like it.
Very nice. No, I love the descriptor of that cocktail. I'm going to have to try something similar here.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of joking, but not really. Is that, it feels like it needs a rib bone hanging out of there.
You know what? Next time I'll have to do that. We have a barbecue. I'll make one. After I eat a rib, I'll clean the rib off, put it in afterwards. And
you got those fancy Bloody Marys. They got shrimp and bacon and all sorts of things.
They got a lobster claw coming out of it with a thick bacon strip and the celery over it, and then it's a meal as well as a drink.
But you got a barbecue thing going on. So it feels like it needs a rib bone.
I'll put I'll make this and put the whole rib in there.
There you go.
I'll dip the rib in.
See, that would be perfect. It's a perfect cocktail. Exactly. No, I have to try that. I got to know how it works now. What's a thought enters up in here? It's got to work its way through.
It's really tasty. I'm enjoying it very much. So, but cool. What's new on the pub? What's going on in the pub?
So my hours have gotten a little weird lately. So
You've been working a lot. You've been going crazy a lot.
I don't have an at the pub scheduled right away because I've had to pick up a few hours, which is great actually. But uh, I do like being able to what's the word I'm looking for? My new job has me exploring different avenues. Right, they've got me coming up with new cocktail variations.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited. That's why, hence the coconut lime tonight. I'm trying to come up with a few new cocktails for next month at work. So I love being able to do that. It's not something I've been able to do before, and I love being able to kind of reinvent myself at almost 59 now. I turn 59 next month. Um, I spent so many years in retail management, that I thought I wasn't qualified to do anything else. There's no way I can ever change my life
Mm-hmm.
until I decided not to do that anymore, right? Abruptly. And now I joke with folks that I kind of did my life backwards. I became a bartender at 59.
There you go. Yeah, right. I've known some of the best people in the world are bartenders. You know. I've known a couple people they did that for their whole life. Didn't actually own the bar, but they bartended. They put kids through college. They've bought houses. It's a solid thing. So to reinvent yourself at 59 and do that, and I know I'm not speaking the same thing. Obviously, you're not a bartender. You're doing things differently for for your company that you're working with. But yeah, kudos to every single one of them because, and I'm gonna tell you something. Bartenders are very important.
Oh yeah, I
Very
agree.
important. Half of this world would be a lot crazier if they didn't have a bartender they can go sit and talk to whenever they needed to,
Hey, the thing is, I pride myself on that because I feel like today's bartenders don't do that as a whole. So being that older person, I'm trying to bring that old school bartender logic back into effect. That
You know what? Yeah.
I want my clientele or my customers to talk to me, and I will give them, the benefit or whatever of whatever wisdom I have.
Right.
It may not be the greatest advice, but it's the best I have.
You know what? That's awesome. And yeah, you're absolutely right. There's, with the younger crowd, if you will, they seem to be a little bit, and I can't condemn them all because they're not all like that, right? There seems to be a trend though that they're a little bit more self-absorbed, self-involved, which is fine. You do you, that kind of a thing. But there are still a few of those, old souls out there that get it,
But yeah, I agree with that. But in the defense of a lot of folks out there that are younger than I am, it's not the people per se, it's the businesses. A lot of businesses do not want their bartenders or beer tenders conversing with the public.
They want them to pour the beer and walk away. Pour the drink, make the drink, walk away, go to the next person. Big, boom.
That's why I love where I'm working now. Is that's what's encouraged, is to be knowledgeable, to know the product, to know your clientele, and know who wants to talk to you and who doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the difference between what you're saying. It's the location. It's where you are, because those corporate restaurants, those corporate bars, the bars and the corporate restaurants, if you will. They don't want any the extent of the conversation is, what can I get you, and here's your bill.
Yeah, that's
right. But yeah, it's the mom and pops or the breweries or the locals. That's the ones that aren't 9 miles deep with a line every night because it's a quick in and out. They want turnover. They want people sitting at the bar, get their food, get their drinks, bing bang boom, get out, open the chair up, open the table up. Those are the ones that they want to move, and they want no conversation, no conversing with anybody. But the mom and pops, the smaller places, yeah. I mean, that's part of your job. I mean, if
Yeah.
I wanted, granted, I don't want somebody standing there talking to somebody. They have to have the skill set, right? I don't want somebody standing there having a conversation with somebody for hours on end at the detriment of serving the rest of the people at the bar, right?
Yeah.
You got to be able to multitask, right? Have a conversation. Hey, what can I get you? So continue, yeah, sure. And then making the cocktail for that guy while they're still in the conversation with this guy. And then that guy gets in the conversation and all of a sudden they start talking and the bartender moves on to the next guy. You got to be able to almost, almost be a talk show host.
Well, see,
and
you hit the nail on the head.
introduce people and get people talking and get the social aspect of everybody at the bar going. That's what you need to do. You need to be the cruise director of the bar.
That's exactly that. That's a great analogy of the cruise director, because my job is to get this guy talking to this guy. So I start that conversation and I move it over here. Yep, you're exactly right.
Absolutely. That's the way you got to do it.
And I never thought of that, but that's brilliant, actually. Yeah.
You got to do that. That's and the bartenders that can do that, they're aces, because they can jump into any conversation whenever they need to, interject whenever, if they even and be cognizant of what's going on too.
Everybody else talking to each other,
right? And be cognizant of what's going on too. If they get a conversation started, and all of a sudden, as they're going by and making another drink for somebody else, they happen to see that conversation is starting to dwindle a little bit. Get it going again. Ramp it back up again. Just keep everything moving, keep everybody going, keep everybody happy, keep everybody talking, keep everybody drinking, because that's important too, right?
And stay positive. You always got to be smiling, man. You got to be happy. People have to think you love your job.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'll be honest with you, the bartenders that do what I just said and do it well do love their jobs.
Oh, I got to be honest with you. I mean, I'd always said this to people before, but I've never loved the job as much as I love the one I have now. Oh my God, the people I work for, the place I work at. Oh my gosh, the last job I had for 5 years, the last year and a half, every time I grabbed that handle to go into work, I could feel the acid churning in my belly. I mean, I know you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I get it.
But this job I have now, that I've had for a little over a year now, is that, I mean, I'm excited every day I get to go to work. I get to go to work today. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm happy. I love this place. I love the people. I love the people I work for. I love the people that come in. And the whole thing about this is just amazing.
If your job is something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Oh my gosh, it's just amazing. I can't believe how I lucked into this particular job.
Good. I'm absolutely happy for you, and cheers to that.
So tell me about your cocktail as you're getting near the end.
So it has stayed. I mean, the smoke has opened up a little bit. The maple syrup. I mean, this, and I got to say this week, I'm gonna actually reach out to them to see if we can get them to be a sponsor of the and a chaser. This Sugar Bob smoked maple syrup.
Oh my gosh,
we got to get you some of this too. But
I need, yeah,
it's fantastic, but it's not super sweet. It's nice. It's nice, and if this is a word, it's nice and mapley, right? But it's nice and smoky.
I like it.
It's nice and smoky too. It's nice and smoky too. We got a comment on here before I continue.
Nice and mapley. I like it.
We got from Doug Smith. Cheers. What's everyone drinking?
Well, Doug, I'll tell you what I had. I just finished this. It is from Longboat Brewing out of Columbia, Missouri. Mm-hmm. Is their Dark Matter, a porter with coconut. And because we're doing the Anna Chaser show, the cocktail I decided to go with was I made a lime coconut simple syrup. I added cocoa bitters. I used a rye, and so I made sort of an old-fashioned inspired cocktail.
There you go. And Doug said, cheers, Johnny. Cheers, Tom. Cheers, Doug. Doug, I went with a barbecue whiskey. It's actually called Curveball. Barbecue whiskey. It's smoky, teeny little bit of heat, not much, just a little bit. It's basically spicing, like barbecue spicing, but not overpowering, more smoke than anything. And I put a little of, once again, the Sugar Bob smoked maple syrup.
Sugar Bob's, baby.
Sugar Bob. And that's it. That's it. Just a little bit of smoked maple syrup from Sugar Bob smoked maple syrup and the whiskey, and it's fantastic. And I was just saying to Tom, yeah, it's blended so well. The maple, I mean, maple on barbecue, right? Obviously.
That's got to work
together. And the smoke is perfect. A little bit of heat in there. This is really, really tasty. I bought Doug. What I did was I said it earlier in the show. I bought 2 samples. I bought 2 little airplane bottles of the Curveball barbecue because I wasn't sure. I want to try it first before I invested in the big bottle. Right? I wasn't sure. I wanted to make sure. I wasn't like doubting it was going to be anything, but I did that to make sure. I'll probably buy the bottle now before I even have the second airplane bottle. So, but this was fantastic, and I paired it with good old fashioned Yingling Bock beer. Yingling came back. They re-released their Bock beer, and to me, I said it earlier in the show just to reiterate it. Bock beer, to me, years and years and years ago, and I was much younger, Bock beer was always a staple at a barbecue for me. Like drinking a Bock beer, whether it was Yingling. Actually, back in the day when the Amber Bock, the Michelob Amber Bock or whatever, not quite a true Bock, but still Bock beer. Just and those darker beers, the amber beers, those maltier beers, they tend to go much better with barbecue than a light lager would, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
But it's fantastic. So thanks for asking. Doug actually said, so Tom, when's the party at Brewdog? And he said, Johnny and Dave mapped it out, 8-hour drive. So.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, from my house, it's a 9.5-hour drive. So I will be there near the end of September for 5 days. I will message you. Don't want to say the exact days here, but I will tell you guys exactly what days I'm going if you want to meet me out there.
Fair enough. I mean, it's an 8-hour drive. It'll have to involve at least a 1-night stay, but it can be done. I've driven to Cleveland in a day easily before.
Yeah, I don't expect you guys to come out there to meet me for
I'm just saying for that. I've driven to Cleveland a day. Well, and stayed, right, and went back. So, and Cleveland's 7.5 hours. It's only a half hour further. I've actually driven to Chicago in a day, right? But so I also stayed there for 5 days and then drove back. But that's besides the point. So
we do have a room at that Brewdog Hotel that they said holds up to 6 people. So.
Now, wait, does the room hold up to 6 people or does the hotel hold up to 6 people?
the room specifically. I think it's a pull-out couch kind of thing, so I don't know how comfortable it's going to be. But
depending on how much Brewdog beer I've had, the floor is fine.
It doesn't matter, right?
It won't matter at that point. As long as my jacket can roll up for a pillow, I'm aces. I'm good. 2 aspirin, big glass of water, jacket rolled up for a pillow.
For you.
I'm good. Okay. Good breakfast the next morning and a drive home, and I'm good to go. So anyway, but cool. So cheers, Doug. Well, more on that too. There's some other stuff coming up beforehand. We'll mention some of that actually in the next couple of weeks on the Lager Room, guys.
Nice.
Some events that we might be able to coerce some people to, get together and maybe take a ride or visit certain areas for certain.
Oh, you got to tip me, man.
So more, Doug, I'll text you the info, and Tom, I'll tell you at the end of the show, and it'll be out next couple of weeks on the Lager Room, guys. But you guys will know today. Doug, I'll text you tonight, Doug, and Tom, I'll tell you when we wrap up the show.
Well, Coastal Brewworks opens. I want to be there.
There you go. So you knew where I was going with that. Anyway,
so talk to me.
So, it's getting closer. We will make no announcements yet. So that's why I said I'll let you know when we wrap the show up. We're making the announcements on. We'll actually make the announcement on the Lager Room Guys show, and then. Yeah. We'll make the announcement there, and then it'll be out on social media for the world to see and so forth. Hopefully, the world to see. It'd be great.
I'm really excited for you guys, man. I know they have some great products out there.
I appreciate it. That's getting closer, but this is, I'm if I didn't have to do the sports podcast, and by the way, the sports podcast tonight. Oh, wait a minute. Doug said, "Bottle of rye headed your way, Tom."
Thanks, Doug. I appreciate that, man.
If I didn't have to do the sports podcast,
differences over the years, but he is a good guy, man.
Nice. It's awesome. If I didn't do the sports podcast tonight, it's our annual draft show tonight because tomorrow night is the NFL draft, or first round of it anyway. So tonight we're going to discuss how the Giants are going to screw up the first round, and and other teams too. Pretty much how every team's going to screw up.
Yeah,
certainly,
So I grew up in Southern California, so I've always been a Rams fan. So I'm used to 4-12 seasons.
I love the fact that you grew up in Southern California and you grew up a Rams fan, and then you found yourself in Missouri when the Rams were there. Of course, they're not back in California.
Yeah.
But,
So
you followed the Rams around, is what you did, right?
Well, people ask me, "Oh, are you going to still be a Rams fan when they move back to California?" Well, of course I am, because that's where they belong in the first place. But
and where was the first place the Rams were?
The Rams.
Rams. LA was not their first location.
Okay, well, I'm not aware. Tell me.
Cleveland.
Oh yeah, I do know that. Yeah, actually,
they came into the league. I mean, almost probably 90 years ago at this point, as the Cleveland Rams.
So let me throw a piece of trivia at you. Who coined the term the sack?
Well, it was on the Rams. That was with Deacon Jones, right? And
Deacon Jones. Yep. Yeah. That's the problem. Whenever I hear somebody is a sack leader, yeah, but Deacon Jones was the man before the term.
Yeah. So,
if the term before Deacon Jones, he would still be the leader today because the man was that good.
Absolutely. And you know what? And you know what? Nothing against Michael Strahan.
I
love Michael Strahan.
Even as not a Giants fan, I know he's a great player. Yeah,
and he's in the Hall of Fame. Of course, he's a great player, right? But I just wish that now Michael Strahan, that last sack that made him be the all-time sack leader with beating Gastineau, right? Mm-hmm. And not that I'm a Jets fan by any means. I don't hate the Jets. I'm local, whatever. But he would have gotten that sack. He would have sacked Brett Favre. Brett Favre just made it look like he was giving up, almost like, he was now, and he might have just been giving up on the play. No, he might have, in all fairness, he might have just been giving up on the play. Like he knew he was going to get sacked. So he didn't want to get hurt. And that's in all fairness, that may very well be how it went down. Right. Yeah. But everybody, especially Jets fans, of course, because he beat Mark Gastineau's record. Right. Every Jets fan is like, oh, they're friends. He just laid down and gave him the sack record. It's still Gastineau's record. It's. Well, I wish that didn't go down that way because Strahan would have gotten the sack regardless. But like I always said, most likely it went down because like any other quarterback that's about to get sacked, Eli Manning made a career whenever he got sacked of giving up because he didn't want to get hurt. And it worked out because he never missed a game, right? Until he was benched. Until he was unceremoniously benched by Ben McAdoosh. I'm sorry, Ben McAdoosh. But anyway, Doug Smith just said, Tom was your old neck of the woods in March. Tom was in your old neck of the woods in March for 10 days, was in LA and Anaheim. There you go.
I'm not really. So I grew up in the Anaheim area. I'm not really sure what that question is trying to.
You grew up in the Anaheim area. No, he said, he didn't say I. He should have Tom, I was in your old neck of the woods. Tom.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
He was in your old neck of the woods. I
hope you visited some of my old haunts, Doug. I really do. Although I don't think many of them are around anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking about that with a few people from, this area. I grew up in New Jersey, not the area I'm in now, but in fact, one of the people I grew up with, I actually do the sports podcast with later tonight. Harry Lugnuts, his name's actually Bernie. He and I grew up in the same town, and a lot of the haunts he and I and many other people too visited back in the day are no longer in existence, and that's a shame because some of them are really cool. But Doug was in LA for a work trip.
Oh, nice! That's nice, man. I used to go to, if you get back out that way again, I used to spend a lot of time at the Troubadour, the whiskey.
Whiskey.
Yeah,
Okay, gotta go to the whiskey.
Whiskey a go-go, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
The Troubadour. I don't think Madame Wong's is around anymore.
So yeah, there's. I mean, we could go down a road. We should do that. We've Tom, you and I on the pub. We've done a music
We have.
show. We've talked about bands and stuff like that. We should do an old school haunts
Yeah,
show.
back in the
You know,
old
about
clubs.
LA and New York, clubs. You know,
Nine.
you could wax nostalgic about the City of Angels, and I can wax nostalgic about the Big Apple. Yeah, there's and vicinity, right? Because
Yeah.
but cool. Yeah.
Anyway,
This was fantastic. This drink.
oh, it looks incredible.
Yeah, this is one of those drinks where I always say this too. This is one of those drinks where you want to break open the glass and lick the rest of the inside of it. You know?
Yeah,
it was really good. But anyway, cool. What I actually, the one thing I was going to bring up is the reason I wore this shirt tonight was the llama. It's like Gunga Galunga from Caddyshack, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's I have yet to get out yet golfing this year yet. I was actually going back and forth texting before with a couple of guys. We were going to try to get out and play at least 9 on Friday, late afternoon. And so it was tentative, and we were going to confirm tomorrow. And then one of them just got back and said, "Sorry, can't."
Oh no!
So I guess I'm not, unless I go play 9 by myself, or unless the other guy wants to go and we just go out, the two of us. But that's always a possibility. But
Oh man,
at some point I'll get out.
there's always someone.
Mm-hmm. Always someone. So,
Oh, mercy.
any parting shots?
No, well, the truth is, I mean, I love what you did tonight. I mean, the pairings were just brilliant. I wouldn't have thought of that barbecue maple thing, so that's just genius.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I saw this. I had to get it. You know, it's a newer brand. You know, and there's a lot of new whiskeys coming out, right?
Well, I mean, they got a lot. They're known for the peanut butter stuff, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
But the fact that you made a barbecue thing out of it, that's just brilliant, man.
They're definitely wanted to try like I said, I bought 2. I'll have the other one sooner because it's just so good. I may even do it tomorrow night while watching the draft. But in any event, this is
depressed.
So who do you think? Who do you before we go? Who do you what? Not who, but what or who, if you want the Rams to take? What do you think they're looking for? You want to replace Aaron Donald right away, or you're looking for somebody else? What's in your mind as far as who the Rams should be picking?
Well, I know this isn't going to be popular, but the truth is, I just don't care. The Rams are going to be who they're going to be, right? I've been so
one first round draft pick isn't going to make or break next season, but
so many 4-12 seasons I've been, you know, we had that year with Kurt Warner where we thought we were going to have a dynasty, and then we had that Stafford year where they got the Super Bowl. We thought we were going to have another dynasty, and I'm tired of being disappointed. And the truth is, I just don't care. I hope they get whoever is going to, you know. I don't think the draft choice makes a difference. I think they need upper management change to really make a difference in what that organization is going to do. Right. They've always had the ability to have a dynasty, and they fuck it up every time.
Yeah, well, I can't disagree with you when it comes to some teams that screw things up. I mean, look at the Giants. I'm a Giants fan, obviously, right? I mean, we won 2 Super Bowls 4 years apart, twice, right? And you could almost say, like the first one, like 86 and 90, those 2 teams, you could almost say they were almost part of a dynasty, right?
Yeah.
Because that defense was just ridiculous. All the players they had, between LT, Harry Carson, but he retired after the first one, Pepper Johnson, Lionel, what you call anyway, Leonard Marshall, thank you. I mean, there were so many carbags. That defense was just stupid good. and with Bill Belichick, right, was the defensive coordinator, and Bill Parcells being the head coach, they were able to. You could almost say they were dynasty-esque, right? But there was also San Francisco there, right? So I think that the strike in '80, I always say the strike in '87, I think the Giants would have repeated. I really do.
Yeah, it could be.
I think they would have, because Washington, and no offense to Doug Williams or anything like that, but certainly Washington's team wasn't as good as the Giants before it. The reason that Washington kind of rose to the occasion was because of the strike. They actually put together the scab team that was the best in the NFC East. So they wound up, winning the NFC East mainly because of the but anyway.
Doug Williams was never a great quarterback, but he had a great year.
Yeah. And, and again, I think in '89, the Giants might have even had something to say over the 49ers. If it wasn't for damn Flipper Anderson from your team, thanks. I won't even go there, but
you're wrong.
but yeah, so whatever. But again, it's just been so long since the Giants really were relevant. You think about it. The Giants just won 2 Super Bowls in the last 18 years, right? So it's 2-4 apart, whatever. But it's 87, so 17 years, 16 if you want to look at the calendar. But
and we're kind of the same way with the Rams, right?
But it feels like it was too long ago. The Giants are like the tied for the 3rd most Super Bowl winningest team.
Yeah.
It's with the Patriots and the Steelers with 8, the Cowboys and the 49ers with 7, the Giants and the Packers, and now the Chiefs with 8. 6, 5, and 4 have.
You get those. You got that upstart making some noise there.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But the draft should be fun in any event tomorrow night, one way or the other. Either fun, like shoot yourself fun, or fun just to look at everything that pans out, because there's a lot. I mean, it's another good quarterback draft, but we'll talk about that. Anybody watching this that actually does want to hear what we have to say, in about a half an hour, we'll be live on the Get On With It Sports Podcast. If you go to
so Johnny,
Facebook.
let's throw that question back at you. Who do you think your team ought to pick?
Well, I think that everybody thinks they're going to pick a quarterback. I do not think they're going to pick a quarterback unless they can get a halfway decent one in the second.
No. Well, let me change that question. Who do you think they should pick?
Here's my thing. All right, and I'll say this again on the sports podcast. Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback this year, regardless of what anybody wants. No matter, I don't care if they get to pick Caleb Williams. Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback this year. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, they're not going to throw some kid into the Wolves. And Daniel Jones is making over $40 million this year, so they're playing him. Right? Now, if he gets hurt or if he just screws up 9 games in a row or so forth and so on, then that's a different story. Then, they can bring somebody else in. They did pick up Drew Lock from the Seahawks. So they have a solid backup, and Tommy Cutlass is still there, right? But here's my thing. Here's my overall thing. Daniel Jones is a sufficient quarterback. Daniel Jones is probably he's no Eli Manning, he's no Phil Simms, he's no Charlie Connerly, he's no Wyatt Tittle, he's not. You can name Fran Tarkenton. He's not in the top group of by any means of giant quarterbacks, but he can throw the ball. He can run the ball. If he has good protection and decent targets to throw it to, he can make things happen. And he proved that 2 years ago when they went to the playoffs and they beat Minnesota and then lost in the divisional round to the Eagles.
Well, I'm asking the question, who do you think they should pick? Should they pick a quarterback or not?
I think they should pick, and I think they're going to pick Malik Neighbors. I think they're going to wind up with the wide receiver from L.A., from Louisiana.
Is that a good move?
Yeah, no, I think it is because he's basically he's wide receiver. He's got wide receiver 1 written all over him. I like him better than Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a great wide receiver, but he's not his father, right?
Yeah,
I think he is. And he could prove me wrong. I think Malik Neighbors is a better pick, but I think they're going to wind up with him. They have made improvements to the offensive line through free agency.
All right.
I think they're going to be back again, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised what they can do, especially with a big target like a good wide receiver one target like Malik Neighbors, which is just going to open up once he establishes himself. It's going to open up better better connections and better passing opportunities to Wan'Dale Robertson and Jalen Hyatt and Slayton if he does stay, and the other ones. And they picked up Devin Singletary, and who's obviously replacing Saquon Barkley, who went to Philadelphia. And Singletary's no slouch; he's a good running back. So I think everybody will be pleasantly surprised if they pick up Malik Neighbors, and I do think that's the right move. Now, now here's the other thing too: if Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix, the quarterbacks from Washington and Oregon, respectively, if they fall to the second round and they get to the Giants pick, I can see the Giants picking one of them, and then that possibly just being a backup for a possibility for Daniel Jones. And unless Daniel Jones just even if he has a great season, unless he just lights it up, they'll be the future. If they work out. But yeah, I think that's the way to go. I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow. So we'll see.
All right.
We'll talk more about that on the show. Like I said, Get On With It Sports Podcast on. Just go to Facebook.com/Get On With It. Get On With It Podcast, and you'll be able to watch the show. But more importantly, End a Chaser. Facebook.com/End a Chaser. Every Wednesday, every other Wednesday night.
Every other.
Right here. Oh, I got to put this up. Doug Smith just commented. He said, "Eli, the Patriots slayer. He snatched 2 from the Patriots. We need a quarterback." Yes, he did. He did. Doug, let me ask you really quick, and I'll ask Tom too, but really quick. Just one more quick question, and we'll get out of here. We're talking about Eli Manning. Eli Manning is eligible next year. This draft class, this Hall of Fame class is already, been announced. Obviously, they're going in, they're getting enshrined in August. The next Hall of Fame class in 2025, Eli Manning is eligible for. Do you think, Doug Smith, do you think Eli Manning is a first ballot Hall of Famer? And if not, do you think he's a Hall of Famer at all? Answer that question. And now I'll put it to you, Tom. Tom, the same question while Doug types.
Honestly, so here's the thing. I'm not necessarily an Eli fan. However, he did win Super Bowls. He did win 2 Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. He did. He was the head of that team. Yeah, he does. He does deserve to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I agree with that. I want to know what Doug says, but I agree with that. He won 2 Super Bowls. He won 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He won both of those Super Bowls and Super Bowl MVPs, he beat Tom Brady twice and Bill Belichick and the Patriots.
Yeah.
He also holds a ton of Giants team records. He's in the top 10 all time in a number of NFL records.
Yes.
And if he wasn't
great all the time, but when he was great, he was great.
And if he didn't have the last 6 years to 6 or 7 years of his career with the Giants, if he didn't have the crap line that he had in front of him, he would have done more.
Yeah,
he was able to do more because it's a team sport, right? It's not one person. You look at the stats the man had from those crap seasons that he had towards the end of his career, and they were actually not even halfway, much more than halfway decent. Some of the years were fantastic. The team was horrible, but he was outstanding. So that's what you got to look at. And that's why I think, and not only that fact, but the fact that his last name is Manning kind of helps a little bit there too. So just want to put that in. And Doug Smith, and it's the answer that I was expecting from Doug. No.
All due respect, Doug, he does deserve to be there for everything that Johnny just said.
Well, he holds a special place in his heart for Eli Manning.
And Tom Brady,
the Patriots too.
Tom Brady was incredibly overrated.
I'm sure he doesn't love. Hold on. He goes. He does have 2 rings. He's in the conversation. He will end up in Canton. Don't think he will get in this time, but he will. There you go. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say I don't think Doug holds Nick Foles too high in his regard either. But then again, I don't think Nick Foles is getting in the Hall of Fame, so that's besides. Anyway, all right. Again, Tom,
thanks, man.
any parting shots?
No, I got nothing left.
All right. 2 weeks from tonight, it's going to be it's the three of us will be back. Dave will be drinking. Well, he'll be drinking. Hopefully, he's all better and he's drinking next week. But we'll be on the log room guys then. But 2 weeks from tonight will be the next Endo Chaser show. That'll be Wednesday, the 8th. I'm sorry, Wednesday, May 8th. That'll be the next Endo Chaser show, and we'll be having a cool. Stay tuned for what we're doing, but it's going to be a neat show. So anyway, let's.
I see what you did there.
See what I did there? It's going to be a neat show.
See what you did.
See what I did there?
Charge. Oh my goodness, it's brilliant.
That's why they pay me the
big.
That's why they pay me the bucks. I won't say big, but there you go. Anyway. All right. On that note, hold on one second. There it is. Oh, I thought I had another comment in there, but I don't. There it is. The computer is thinking. There you go. Just want to let everybody know the computer is thinking. I love when that pinwheel goes around. You know,
my net is online.
You gotta love it. Speedy internet we have here. Gotta love it. Anyway, on that note, we'll wrap the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website. All Endo Chaser info will be on www.logroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on our social media, which is Facebook. Right now, it's facebook.com/EndoChaser. And you can find all of our shows. We go live with all of our shows on the video podcast on Facebook and YouTube, which is the Logroom podcast. Logroom podcast channel on YouTube every other Wednesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you'll find the Endo Chaser podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful couple of weeks, and we will see you in 2 weeks from tonight on Wednesday, May 8th, with the next Endo Chaser episode. There you go. I was going to say install, but and we'll talk to you then. Drink a lot of beer, drink responsibly, as we say on there. Drink some cocktails as well with them, again, responsibly. And we'll talk to you then. Take care, folks. Cheers.